Welcome to the Tuesday show. I'm UltraDavid. James Chen is here.
How's everybody going?
Come on, no whammy.
I see audio bars moving, so I think we're good.
All right, excellent. But please let us know if anything goes awry.
Yes.
So, we didn't have a show last week because we were pretty tuckered out. The reason being, the weekend before that was Evolution 2014.
Yes.
Pretty big event.
Yes, just kind of.
It's
kind of important to the fighting game community,
right.
You know?
I mean, obviously, that's the biggest event of the year. There were literally thousands of people there, quite a few thousands, many thousands. And they were excellent games played. The tournaments were amazing. We'll get to recaps. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff. But first let's just kind of talk about the event in general. How did it go for you? How was EVO 2014?
Well, first of all, people are saying that they are hearing popping noises in the audio. They said that they heard this yesterday, but it wasn't too bad. But is it worse today? Interestingly enough. I don't know. I don't know what's the situation here. But I guess we'll just keep going and see how it goes. So I'll have to, because I don't hear anything on my headphones. Everything that's pumped into the audio goes here and then into there. So we'll figure it out.
Stopped. They said it's
it
good.
Did stop.
It's good. All right.
There you go.
Whatever.
See? Magic.
You fixed it.
Magic. Evolution 2014 was amazing.
Well,
Evolution 2014 was awesome. So, I mean, the best way, honestly, to sum it up is that every year I'm always, like, after EVO, I'm always scared. I'm always like, how do we top this the next year? How can it get better than what we just went through? And somehow, every year it does. Someone asked me if this was my favorite EVO ever. And honestly, every new year has been my favorite EVO ever. Yeah, it always gets so much better. Like, it just gets bigger and the audience gets more hype and just more and more drama. I mean, this was the year of, like, feels, drama, like real tears going on this EVO. And that kind of emotion to me is just, it's you can't top that. To see that kind of real emotion happen on stage, to see what that tournament means to people, it's awesome. I love it. So
it was great.
Yeah. I mean, what about you? What would?
I mean, it was an awesome, several days. So we both got there a couple days in advance. Thursday night we go to sleep early because Friday night we wake up early and we commentate and we want to be alive for that. It's
right.
It's a pretty big event, so we want to treat it seriously. So as a result, I got there on Wednesday in order to have time to hang out, and I did, and it was awesome. And Thursday, I went to the pool, and I got burned, and nobody seemed to notice on camera, so it was no big deal.
That's because the light was just like
in
our face.
Yeah, it
like
didn't matter.
when we were sitting at the commentary table, I don't know if people know this, we could barely see the crowd. We can't see anything because it's just this bright light in our faces.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty crazy.
Just got to guess, basically. So that was awesome. And then Friday was, it was a long day. We had a long day. So we started commentating Street Fighter at 8 a.m. We went until 6 p.m. with like a few 15-minute breaks in there. And then I think I commentated immediately. Still.
You commentated.
And then I had 2 more hours. Then you after that had 2 more hours. And I after that had another hour and a half. So man, it was a long day.
Yeah,
but awesome.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, you know how much I love Marvel, right? I love Marvel.
That's true.
Right? That 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. shift of Street Fighter felt twice as fast than our 2-hour shift of Marvel on Saturday morning.
That is 100% accurate.
I was so tired on Saturday morning, so we woke up to do 8. So basically, we were there for about 15 hours on Friday. And then we went to sleep, woke up, and immediately did 2 hours opening on Saturday. And those were the longest 2 hours of commentary that I can recall in recent memory.
You just felt tired?
I was so tired, and it was just like...
we went to sleep late because I mean, the Wednesday Night Fights NLBC exhibition went late.
Right.
And then we stayed up for another hour, and then we went to sleep, and then we had to wake up 3 or 4 hours later. So we didn't get too much.
And that Street Fighter 4 commentary, I don't know what it was, but that whole 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. shift went by fast.
I think so. I really agree.
It felt fast.
It really
to me
did
because there was.
I was
just so many
surprised when
good
it was over.
Yeah. There were so many good matches.
So that was a cool day for us. And then Saturday we had a little bit more time to hang out.
Sort of.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And you commentated ST. I watched later. It was super cool.
Yeah, but we also had some stuff that we had to take care of as well.
That's true. Yeah, we had a meeting for Yatagarasu, which we both are doing. We did voiceover in, which was pretty cool. And then we had a very interesting conversation, an interview with Papa Tiwawa, the Japanese commentator. He's going to put it up at some point, but super interesting conversation about commentary and different philosophies on it, and
cultural differences.
Yeah. It was like a cultural exchange, translated by Steve Boken. I loved it. You went back to commentate Street Fighter Super Turbo, and I stayed there for another hour. So I was there talking with him for 2 hours. Then we played some Street Fighter. It turns out, by the way, I asked him, if he ever played. He asked us this too because we didn't, and we were both kind of indignant. Yes, we played, but then it was the same thing for him.
Yeah.
He apparently was one of the top alpha players back in the day in Japan.
He has a super good guy in Street Fighter 4. Right?
He said he's the number one BP guy in Japan. And so I got to play him after we had a little interview. And hey, he was legit.
Yeah.
He was legit. I mean, I think we were both surprised that the other one of us was legit.
That's awesome.
Because there were definitely times that I was Zangief and Hugo Hughes guy, and there were definitely times when he was like, "Oh, that was really good," but in Japan, Steve's translator,
right.
He was like, "That was really good," like kind of surprised. But then I did the same thing. I was like, "Oh, that was pretty sick, actually."
I'm glad I didn't play because then I would have looked bad. No, I was kidding.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, just so you guys know, Papa Tawawa. I mean, we talked about how much we commentated on Friday. I think he literally commentated the entire day on Friday for the Nico stream. So for the Japan stream, he was doing a lot of the commentary. He would get people to help him out every once in a while, but he pretty much is the guy who runs it and does all the commentary for that stream. So super hardworking guy, awesome dude. So
and his name is hilarious. So it turns out it's Papa Tiwawa, but what it's actually supposed to be is Papa Chihuahua. And he said, "Why is that your name?" He said because when he was younger, he was a wolf. But now that he's married and has a family, he's a Chihuahua.
That's so awesome, dude.
That was pretty great. So anyway, that was Saturday. Then I didn't have crap to do on Sunday, which is the first time that's happened in a million years. And that was actually great.
Well, because you usually do top 8 like Injustice or even Mortal Kombat.
MK,
and this year, neither of them were on Sunday.
Exactly.
Right?
That was Saturday, so that was already over. So I got there at 9 a.m. for Blazblue.
Yeah.
I was so glad I did.
I know, right?
And I was there the whole day, just kind of in the front right section. A bunch of my friends were hanging out, and we just kind of sat there, had some tequila, had some beers, and watched video games and really nerded out. It was just an amazing day. I'm really happy that I actually got to do that. It was quite an experience, and everybody else in the room got the same thing, but it's just it's a side of the event that I don't normally see.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, whenever we go to all the past events like CEO and Final Round and stuff like that, we rarely get time to just chill and hang out, And it's really funny because the biggest problem for me is that I always commentate Ultra, which is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And by the time I got on the mic, you could hear my voice was dead, right? That has nothing to do with Friday and Saturday talking.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing to do. That was pure me just screaming and yelling all of Sunday. I was yelling I think when Axe 4-stocked Silent Wolf in less than a minute.
That was...
I turned around and looked at the crowd, 4 people were just staring at each other going, "Oh!" And I was just screaming at the top of my lungs, and
I was doing that too.
It was so awesome, dude. It was so amazing. So I lost all my voice by the time I got to Street Fighter, and you can hear it. I could barely talk during Street Fighter, and it's just for me getting too hype. I mean, people see the photos of me, screaming and stuff like that, and I forgot who it was who photoshopped my face onto everybody's
That was
head.
hilarious.
Yeah, so but yeah, that's how it gets when I watch these fighting games. When I don't have to commentate it, I just go ballistic. Yeah.
Same thing for me, and I did on Sunday. But so there were these two major rooms. Obviously, there was the big old tournament hall. Almost all of the game tournaments happened in there, and then there was the secondary hall, which you had to walk through to get to the main tournament hall, where there were vendors and there were additional games being played, and there were
and stuff.
Yeah, betas. There were bring your own console setups there, and Broketeer had setups going, and you know, there were a bunch of things happening in that room too.
Yeah, let me give a quick shout out to the Evo staff for that organization. I loved the fact that vendor room, you had to cross through there to get to the main. It was just beautifully set up.
Agreed.
I mean, because the thing about it is, let's face it, an event is not going to be an event unless you make the vendors and a lot of these guys happy as well, right?
Sure.
And everybody that I talked to in that hall said they got plenty of people coming by. They all like sold out of their products and everything like that. And it was just really cool because before you get to the main show, you see Guilty Gear Xrd sitting there, you know, Persona Ultimax, you know, the new version of Yatagarasu, and just, you know, it's
Star Wall.
Yeah, Star Wall, exact. Yeah, because the whole indie section
games were there.
Yeah, so it was really cool, and the gigantic Mad Catz booth that was running all like the side tournaments and such like that. It was a really cool layout, and that vendor hall I thought was. And one of the other things that I really liked about the vendor hall is that it was open on Sunday. That almost never happened before because the vendor hall used to be in the same hall, and to clear out space for all the chairs, they had to get rid of all the vendors. But now the vendor hall, they could stay there. And there was a TV in the vendor hall showing the main action.
That was so smart.
Yeah.
That was so smart. I always have a lot of respect for people who go to things like Evo and then don't care about watching anything. They just they go there just to play. Like that's why they're there, and whatever other people are doing is no big deal to them. They're there to like grind it out. That's so awesome, and I was really happy for them that they still had room to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
On Sunday.
Absolutely. So yeah, I really liked the vendor hall. We didn't get a chance to spend enough time in there. At least I know I didn't.
I didn't either.
And I really wanted to look around and see a lot of the things. I didn't get to see a lot of the indie games and stuff. So,
I only got a little bit of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it seemed very successful. There were 8,000 people there.
Yeah, people watching. Maybe more. I'm not even sure exactly how it turned out in the end.
That's right. That was before on-site people buying. You can buy like spectator passes last minute, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that they had planned on about 8,000 chairs, but it turned out to only be like 6,500. Only 6,500. So it got packed in there. Like people started just filling up all over the place. So it was pretty crazy.
For a little while on Sunday during Street Fighter Finals, I kind of got sick of being around 8 million people, so I went into the way back.
Oh, right.
And I was in there in the last row for a little while. And that was awesome, actually, because I had to walk so far to get to a row that didn't have people. It was only the last 5 or 6 rows that didn't have people. All of the rows were packed otherwise.
Dang, okay.
So we're talking, I don't know, if there are 6,500 chairs, there were 6,000 people in them at least. And it was such an impressive view from the back, seeing this gigantic 80-foot by 20-foot screen, and then these other 2 big screens, and then in the front of that, these other 2 big screens. There was just so much, I don't know, it was a very impressive sight.
Yeah, and you know, while we're at it, that 20-foot by 80-foot screen was ridiculous. And shout-outs to Seth Mussey, because that guy, Emmy Award-winning Seth Mussey, he outdid himself this year making these crazy 80 by 20 feet videos to play on there. All the side animations, the graphics, how they would change based on which character they were playing. Cool. They would have the win rate up there and everything like that. I mean, production value wise, I just feel like this Evo just jumped like all the previous years were like, yeah, okay. And then this year, all of a sudden, it was just like, whoop, you know, it just hit another level. And I don't know, like, it was like all the photos. The photos
are great.
So beautiful.
Yeah. And it was really cool to see them on Saturday and Sunday have photos from the previous day.
Yeah.
Things that were happening just a little bit ago.
Yeah, that Evo logo lighting system that they put on the ceiling looks so amazing in every photo.
Super cool. It
Yeah, but it was really good.
And I speaking of production, I really liked having the stats available to us as we were commentating on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if that mattered to people at home, but from my perspective as the commentator, it was very useful to help like make the story. Talk about the backstory, how these two players have played in the past or today or against each other.
Right.
It makes my job a little bit easier, and I think people at home, hopefully at least, it kind of made the engagement a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many countless times I'm like, every time I see these two players, this guy beats this guy all the time, and then everyone tweets me, like, dude, their record is even.
Right, but it's very hard to keep track of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was awesome to actually get it down, and I remember, we were talking. This is in Marvel semis, maybe. It was like Chris G versus somebody, and Chris G's win rate all time in top 8s and 16s in Marvel is like 85%.
Which is ridiculous.
So, I mean, that stat, it's easy to say, like, okay, Chris G is dominant, he gets the top 8s a lot, he has a lot of success, he's won these tournaments, but it's another thing to actually have the stat. He has an 85% win rate in top 8 or top 16.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of takes that analysis to a better level.
Yeah, and shout outs to Nick from One Frame Link for providing all these things. And we've given shout outs to Seth Mussey already, to Nick from One Frame Link. I mean, honestly, that's the one thing that's super impressive to me about EVO is that they keep pulling in more talent and new people from the community. I mean, one of the mainstream producers is Chris Seglia. Right? Yeah. So he's one of the main guys that make sure everything takes place and goes proper on stream and everything. He does an amazing job. Spooky does the technical part where he actually does the streaming. I don't know what the hell Hanzo Gonzo does when he sits there, but he's
an important guy.
He does a good job of it, but I don't know what it is that he does. But you know what? I'm sure the stream couldn't happen without him. Yeah. So no, it's really awesome to see how it keeps growing and growing. And my favorite thing is that everybody that keeps getting pulled into it is from the community already. It's people who are passionate about these things. Seth Mussey, if you guys didn't know, was an amazing Guilty Gear player in the past. In fact, last year in the side tournament in 2013, he got 3rd place with ABBA.
I didn't know that.
And Nick from One Frame Link, he's been trying so hard to change the way stats are perceived in fighting game community for a long time. So it's just really cool. It's really kind of this group effort kind of thing. So
speaking of group effort, I was happy with how the commentary went too. I thought that all of my commentary pairings were really fun. Had a good time.
I haven't gotten a chance to listen to the Wednesday Night Fights run back one. I want to.
That was a blast.
I want to hear that.
That was me and Lee Chung.
Yeah,
and, it was awesome, man. Like we didn't treat it like Evo top 8. Okay, it was more of a little jokey situation, which I thought was appropriate. And we both had, I'm from SoCal, he's from New York, so we clearly had our teams going and had a little bit of rivalry, a little bit of joking in there. But, he's a smart guy who knows the game well, so he had, like, analysis in there, and I thought it was really good.
Cool.
I really liked it. I was really happy to see Persia commentating.
Yes.
That was really nice.
Super happy about that one.
Dude, Marvel needs commentators who know and like that game. Because there aren't too many of those.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who know the game, but, don't really like the game. There are people who like the game and don't know the game.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there who kind of know both, but, they're just not able to articulate it well and stuff like that. So I feel like Persia did a fantastic job. I saw she got a lot of compliments on her commentary and stuff like that. So I'm super happy about that.
I was also really happy to see that it didn't seem like Ski Sonic was getting the BS hate that he tends to get. Like obviously there was some of that.
Thank
but
you.
It seemed like there was less from like my perusals of Reddit and NeoGAF and Shoryuken and stuff. It seemed like there was less than usual, which was really good, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, Ski Sonic hatred is just, it's a meme now. Like, I just don't feel like there's really any basis of it. You know what I mean?
I know people who legitimately don't like him, but I know people who legitimately don't like me or you or whatever.
Dude,
I mean, everybody has...
Right.
There's just a different set of tastes, but, like, which is totally fine. And I like having the variety. But yeah, a lot of the hate that he gets is like,
it's at this point it's just bandwagon kind of thing. Like it's a joke. You're supposed to kind of do it, but it's not. That's not the case at all. He does a really great job. He brings great atmosphere to the game. I like the fact that he's one of the guys who gets hype and energetic about stuff. So
totally agree. Anything else to talk about? Kind of generally about Evo?
Wow.
I didn't get to hang out with as many friends as I wanted to, but that always happens.
That's Evo, right?
That always
because
happens.
When you go to Evo, it's like before in 2008, I would say there was 50% of the people there that maybe we hadn't seen before or we didn't know. But now, like in 2014, I would say a good 98% of the people there I've never seen before in my life, and so it's hard to run into your friends. You know what I mean? It is hard to run into your friends, but definitely I saw a lot of them and just did the whole nod thing and then walk by and never see them again.
Yep.
Like I saw the Arizona crew when I was filming The Line. I saw like Scott and everybody, and I was like, and then I never saw them again. Yeah. It was really sad.
It happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
But no, it was fantastic. Honestly, like, I didn't like the hotel. The hotel wasn't very good. But
I think everybody can agree on that.
Yeah. But the ballroom setup and the space was amazing. I hope that now that the hotel was bought out by Westgate, that they'll do some renovations. And if so, if we end up back there again, who knows where we're going to be. But if they end up back, they're going to be really cool if the hotels were a little nicer.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that Evo was there was that it was the biggest ballroom that any hotel has in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right, so I mean, that's the reason. I agree. Hotel wasn't that great. It's off the strip. It itself has very small casino, not too many bars.
Right.
Amenities are few. So yeah, it would be great to have kind of nicer situation.
Right.
But I mean, most important is to have a nice room, nice venue.
For sure.
Well, time for maybe a break, and then we'll come back and talk about video games.
Yep, sounds good. We'll go over the results of all the games. All right, so we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the Tuesday show. Let's talk now about the actual game tournaments at Evo 2014.
Yep. So I guess we're just going to go in order of the... I guess we're just going to start with Ultra Street Fighter 4 then, right? AKA the bloodbath of 2014.
Dude, the Friday night semis, well, pools and then semis and quarters and semis, I should say. That was nuts. And that was when I was commentating with Ski Sonic, and it felt like everything was happening, like, so quickly. We would get news like somebody lost, somebody won, it was so quick. It was no wonder that we had a little flub, like we said, Daigo lost like 40.
Dude, yeah, I said a bunch of stuff like that too. Yeah,
things were happening. It just felt like they were happening faster than they've ever happened. Like the news was just like coming in, pouring in constantly. Man, that was a really crazy tournament, I have to say.
I mean, here's the thing, right? It's a brand new game. So a lot of people that we expected to make it up there, it's going to be hard because you had guys like Daigo switching to new characters, you know, all these people picking up new characters. And you notice one thing about the top 8, a lot of the people who made top 5, it looks like, were all character specialists who didn't switch from their character. And for all intents and purposes, Ricky didn't switch from his character either,
it's
right?
Almost all Rufus.
So top 6, you could almost say, were all the people using the same character that they've always played. They didn't dabble in anyone else, and that doesn't surprise me, right? But having said that, like, every tournament that we've commentated for Capcom Pro Tour this year, we've just said you could just like pick anyone and throw them, and top 8 would make sense. And that wasn't, I mean, at Evo, that was like 10 times as bad. So seriously, like the top 256, if you pulled out any top 8 and threw them in there, I'd be like, yep, sure, that's your top 8. Makes total sense to me. So the competition is ridiculous in that game.
Right at the start of that, I remember that the bracket at the very, very top of it was Infiltration against Velociraptor. That was like the written top of it, and like immediately Velociraptor sent him to loser's bracket.
Right?
It was so sick. Anyway, let's talk about the actual...
Sure, go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll just say the people who got, I don't know, top 25, is that whatever?
That would be top 32, basically.
Right,
yeah.
32. Anyway, Luffy won the whole thing.
Yes.
With Rose. First
From
place.
France.
From France, Luffy. I'll claim him as the West.
Congratulations to Luffy, France.
Definitely.
U.S. is terrible at Street Fighter.
Hey, we did all right in this one.
Yeah, I know.
Bonchan got second place with Sagat. Fudo third place with Fei Long. Snake Eyes fourth with Zangief. Fifth were Gact with Fei Long and Ricky Ortiz, mostly Rufus, a little bit of Rolento. Seventh, Momochi, Ken, a little bit of Jury. And then also seventh, Sako with Elena, Evil Ryu, Gen, and Ibuki.
Dude, that guy plays like... It's like, if they require lots of buttons, I'm playing him.
Right, I know, yeah. Ninth were Pugera Ibuki, Daiminion Guile, Itabashi Zangief with Geef and T-Hawk, Gamer B Adon. 13th, Eita Akuma, Kazunoko Yun, Filipino Man Rose, Taiga Yun. Then we got Koji KOG Hawk, Mago Fei, Justin Wong, Elena. Oh, it says only Elena? Didn't he play Rufus too?
He played Rufus as well.
That's what I thought. In any case, also Filipino Champ was up there with Dalsum, Haitani, Rufus, and Makoto. Shen with Gen, Mike Ross, Honda, Knuckledew, Guile, and DiCapri. Infiltration, 25th place, Akuma. Then Mise Makoto, Reinhardt Sagat, Hudaman Honda, Yosan Jury, Hungbi T-Hawk, Latif Viper, and Coin Up Ludovic with Chun-Li. That was your top 32. Those are pretty varied top 32.
Yeah.
And I think, I totally agree with you. If we were to just run this again, that top 32 comes out in a completely different way.
Yeah.
No, like, there's, I think Luffy's a super good player, but chances that he wins again, minimal.
Yeah.
I think, but I think it's the case with anybody. If Fudo won the whole thing, chances that he would win again, minimal.
Minimal. Yeah.
Same thing for everybody in there. It's just everybody is so good, so talented. Man, it was very exciting.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to call it a bloodbath is because literally once it got to about top 32 like this, every matchup I watched was like, no, I don't want to see one of these guys go home.
That's true.
No, I don't want to see one of these guys go home. Like just constant that. So yeah, it was. But the character variety was really good. In fact, even the spread of players from different areas, I mean, we had Europe win the whole thing, right? So
yeah, top 8 was Europe, Japan, USA, Singapore, USA, Japan. I mean, that's pretty varied.
Yeah, absolutely.
Relatively speaking to previous years.
Yeah. So I mean, anything about the matches sticks out to you or anything?
I'm very happy as a grappler player that they're viable in like major Evo competition. Right. There's a Geef, a Zangief Hawk, and then a Hawk and another Hawk, all in top 32.
Yeah.
That's never happened before. So I'm really excited for that. I was super impressed with Luffy. His character is good, but people were kind of being stupid about it afterward. That character's good, but not ridiculous.
Look, I'm going to say this and everyone's going to be like, you're making excuses for Bonchan. Or no, this is me critiquing Bonchan. He did not know that matchup.
It didn't seem
How many fireballs are you going to throw at Rose before you realize this is a losing proposition?
I think you're right.
Absolutely. And I think Daigo even walked up to him and told him to stop throwing fireballs. And even L.I. Joe on Twitter was like, I didn't see a single overhead from Bonchan. Like, he never did he should have played up close. He should have played better. Yeah. And so, absolutely, like, if the matchups came out in a different way, it wasn't Rose. It wasn't Rose botting everybody because, Rose is going to be one of those characters everyone's like, oh, she's so good. And then they go and play her, and then they're like, I don't know what to do.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm very impressed with Bonchan also, with Sagat, a character that, he got nerfed a little bit in this version.
Right, yeah.
But there he is, number 2 out of almost 2,000 people. So I think that's awesome.
And the way, obviously we were all rooting for Snake Eyes, right? But the way Fudo shut down Snake Eyes was so tough to watch. But then, the fact that Bonchan beat Fudo in a pretty bad match.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing to me. Like, that just shows you how much skill Bonchan does have when he's playing against a character that he understands, right?
I have to say, that Fudo versus Snake Eyes match was one of the all-time defensive wall performances, I think. Like, that was just... It's very tough. People said, like, oh, why was Snake Eyes jumping in? He's going to get anti-air. But that's how you have to establish both the ground and the air approach. And it's very tough to always keep your eye on both the ground footsie game and the anti-air game as the defensive player. That's really hard. You see people get jumped in on who are among the best players in the world. But he had everything. He had the ground. He had the offense when he needed it. He had the anti-airs 100% of the time. It was just that looked like it was impossible.
And I think
it's not a matchup character impossible.
Right,
matchup.
yeah.
I mean, it's maybe advantage Faye a little bit, but it's like it's not like that.
Yeah.
That was Fudo.
And I think you said it on Twitter that in that matchup, you were almost sad that the best command grab was done by Fudo. That one, I think it was like the 4th round where he was in the corner and all the momentum was on Snake Eyes' side, and all of a sudden, only command throw he threw out in all 4 games.
It was after a green hand from Snake Eyes. He got hit by green hand, and then he did stand jab into command grab, and it was just like out of the blue.
Yeah,
monstrous.
And that was
so
all Fudo. That was all Fudo. Amazing, and he was out of all previous Evo champions, the guy who placed the highest, 3rd place.
Right.
So shout outs to that guy. That guy is, I mean, he's a master Virtua Fighter player, so he's undoubtedly one of the smartest fighting game players out there on the planet right
and he
now.
has exactly the right character for himself.
Yeah.
Ricky also got up there. Gact also got up there. Very, very good players. Momochi, who won CEO, he won Southeast Asia majors. He got top 8 again at a big one.
I do want to point out one thing. Some people have told me that Itabashi Zangief is actually not the best Zangief in Japan.
Oh, okay.
They said that there was somebody else, I can't remember the name, but compare Itabashi versus Ricky Ortiz to Snake Eyes versus Ricky Ortiz.
Yeah.
Ricky made Itabashi Zangief look almost helpless.
Right.
And then Snake Eyes was able to defeat Ricky Ortiz. I mean, I just think Snake Eyes is on a whole nother planet when it comes to Zangief play. So
I definitely agree with that, but I was very happy to see Itabashi get so high. Dominion got 9th. He was not confident in his character at all. In fact, he said he's going to switch away from Guile. I wonder if he's still going to do that, having gotten 9th at EVO with that character. But that was really great. Eita was the highest placing Akuma.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
At 13th. So I think it's really interesting to talk about the top tier, right?
Yeah.
So I think Akuma is still up there, but he didn't do that great. Cammy, people say, is still up there. She didn't do that great. Evil Ryu.
Did you see Snake Eyes versus Tokido, just out of curiosity?
Yeah.
They put that video out there? Yeah. That was pretty crazy, too. But
I'm getting to the point where I think that he loses now to most of the grapplers.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So he gets busted by Hakan, and I think Geef now might have an advantage.
Well,
but
where is the highest Cammy?
I don't even know if she's on this list. I don't even know if she made top 32.
I don't see her anywhere.
She didn't.
Wow.
She's not on there at all. Viper, I think the highest one was Latif. Yeah, he got 25th. Evil Ryu was Sako, but only a little bit. And after that, there was nobody at all. At all. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about the top tier. Maybe we're all wrong about who's top tier.
Yeah.
Like, not just me about Akuma or you about Akuma, but like other people about Evil Ryu or Cammy or Faye. I mean, so the
only character we're right about is Fei Long.
Right, exactly. Everybody thinks Faye is good still, and there you go. He did do well. But other than that, very balanced. I really think that this was one of the better... I would say this was my favorite Street Fighter 4 tournament at Evo. It's been there.
While,
this is my favorite. I think because the Friday of it was such a blow up. It was it was so not what I expected, but at the same time it kind of was because not necessarily I might not have called Infiltration losing, Daigo losing, all that stuff, but you knew that there were going to be upsets. You knew there were going to be crazy things, and that happened. So I was really impressed by it.
Yes. Even Yun.
Yun had, I don't know how to
top
forget.
16s, but no top 8s.
Right.
No top 8s.
Right.
So, who knows? Who knows at this point?
Right. I mean, look, the grapplers did better than Yun.
Look, I'm just going to say this. One of the greatest things about Ultra is that there are system changes. The delayed wake up, the red focus. And system changes always take a little bit longer for them to pan out. For all the previous 4 games with no system changes, it was very easy for all of us to go like, this person's still good. This person's still good. And we were kind of mostly right for a lot of the parts. But now we're figuring a lot of things out. And I think it's going to take a while. And that to me is exciting. it's breathed new life into the Street Fighter 4 series. So I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Anything else to say about SF4?
God, we
Very
could talk
good.
about it forever. So
we
let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Up next in SRK results is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah.
The winner of that thing was EG's Justin Wong with Wolvie Storm Akuma. Chris G got second. Filipino Champ got third. He has the, he's been playing the Morgan team lately, but I think mostly it was Magneto Doom Phoenix and Magneto Dorm Doom. Ray got fourth place. Magneto Doom Sentinel. Flocker with Zero Virgil Hawkeye and Zero Dante Virgil got fifth. Also fifth was Jan with Hulk Shuma Hagar and Hagar Sentinel Shuma. Then seventh were Marn with Zero Virgil Strider and Insane with Nova Spencer Dr. Doom.
Yes.
Ninth, Angelic, Busby, Clockwork, Golden Boy Neo. Then 13th were Yipes, GC Yoshi, Full Schedule, and Apology Man. 17th were Kane Blue River, JDM, Andy G, Peasy Poi, Shorty, Hitbox Buttons, Infrit, Cloud 805. Then 25th were Zaka, Flux, XSK Samurai, Cross, Pony, Dizzy, Marvello, and PR Balrog.
I mean,
it was a good one.
Look,
I actually really enjoyed watching it.
I tweeted this out earlier today. Everyone calls this game random.
Yeah.
But honestly, for the past year, it's been the most consistent top 8 out of like every game, right? And we had 5 gods, right? One of them didn't make it there. PR Rog, he had an inexplicably bad weekend.
Right.
He didn't do well in any game that he played, and I
Right.
talked to him about that. He was just like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, he's like, I can't say anything. I can't complain. I'm just having a bad weekend, right? But the other 4 were 4 out of top 5, right? The only one who busted through was Ray Ray, and Ray Ray's really good at the game, right? So, I mean, that whole list, like, there's very little surprises in that top
I agree,
16.
man.
So,
yeah, I thought that was awesome. I mean, the best 3 players got top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And anyone could have won.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the way Justin beat Filipino Champ, I mean, you saw Justin's reaction. He knows that he kind of got lucky because there was no reason Champ should have called an assist. There was no reason he should have called an assist there, and he did, and that just gave Justin the free win. I mean, seriously, it was...
That was pretty ridiculous. Yeah. No, but I was really happy to see those 3 guys get there, and for the same reason that you're talking about, that it's not random. It has settled down. The top players are the top players, to a much greater extent than in Street Fighter or in the other games in general. And I guess I would say, to me, the most impressive part of the top 8 and of the semis and quarters in general was the neutral game. Because it really came out. It wasn't, man. I haven't liked Marvel lately. Okay, it's been a while since I liked the game, and the reason was that I felt like the neutral game was deteriorating.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was getting to the point where it was
Zero
kind of
touches you
go nuts, and then there was one hit, and then that's the round.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was not at all like that in the top 8 and most of the semis, and I really liked seeing the spacing game, the patience, waiting around, setting things up. All that stuff was in there.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I like about the game. So the stuff that I don't like about the game was not as much of a problem as it kind of had been a little bit before. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, and dude, I mean, talk about like crazy fashion. Justin Wong winning this tournament. 10 years ago, no one would root for Justin in a Marvel game with Storm, but here we are, everyone cheering for him, and he beat Chris G, and he did it by saving a tactic for 6 months. I talked to him afterwards, and the way he beat Chris G was by starting Storm on point. And he said that he's been practicing that against some of the SoCal players like Nerd Josh and Helix.
Okay.
And he's been holding on to that for 6 months.
Okay.
So every tournament that he's played Chris G, he's just put Wolverine at the front, even though he kind of had a better idea of what to do. And there was a great video too, because someone, I don't know who it was who filmed it, they put it out on, it was like Magica Productions or something like that, right? Of Yipes going around and congratulating everybody in top 8. And he gets to Chris G, and Chris G's like, I didn't see that coming, man. I didn't see that coming. And Yipes was like, what, Storm on point? And he was like, yeah, I didn't see that coming. And so Justin literally saved something for 6 months and caught Chris G off guard.
Wow.
I mean, dude, that's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's so crazy, dude. But yeah, congratulations to Justin. I mean, that's awesome that he did that he had something like that up his sleeve. So good job to him. So
definitely agree. I was really happy to see Jan up there. Not just because of the character, those are the kind of characters that I play, but also because it was regional representation involved in there. Texas was in there. SoCal was in there. Well, I guess Chris G is now SoCal, but New York really. NorCal was in there. New York, Ray, Flocker, Florida, Jan, Texas, Marn, etc. SoCal though, Insane, New York. So it was kind of all around.
Yeah, and I definitely want to give Coach Steve some props, man. Getting top 8.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to credit the whole Flux rivalry that he had at one point that lit the fire for him, but I mean, he just made top 8 at EVO in Marvel. That's pretty crazy. That's really cool for him. So I'm super happy for him.
He's a young player, and he's really good in Marvel. He's really good in Street Fighter and in Injustice and basically whatever he plays. So I imagine that he's going to have a pretty good future.
Yeah. And dude, see, look at the top 16 right under top 8.
Yeah.
Angelic, there's Clockwork, there's Yipes, there's Full Schedule, Apology Man. Dude, it breaks my heart to see all these guys not have made top 8.
Dude, I didn't realize that GC Yoshi did so well. That's awesome.
Yeah. Good job to him.
He's such a good player. Chris Spencer Sentinel, I think he believes in, but a lot of people don't. But he still got 13th, so it's rad.
And also, I do want to say, everyone knows, Justin's my boy. I'm always rooting for him. People have said I'm very biased on commentary when I do with Justin, because I can't help it, just because I watch him and I'm looking for things that he's looking for and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I would have 100% been as happy if Chris G had won.
I was rooting for Chris G a lot, actually, that weekend.
Yeah, and it was tough, too, because there's a lot of people that Chris G knocked out that I was like, God, I don't want to see these guys lose. But at the same time, I wanted to see Chris G win because, honestly, I wanted to see Chris G hoist a trophy on an EVO stage and see how it affected him, especially during the course of that day.
Okay.
Because, dude, emotions were flying for the whole day, let me tell you. So I think it would have been really interesting to see how that would have affected him at that point. So, and plus, I feel like he deserves to have his name cemented as an EVO champion. So, I was rooting for him, but Justin Marvelous Wong, dude,
he's gotten top 8 in that game each time.
Yeah.
In Marvel 3.
Yeah.
Same thing for Filipino champ.
Yeah.
So there's
and
a lot of consistency.
Really, right? Or did
I
he
don't
not
think
make
so.
It?
I don't think he's gotten it each time. Because at the very start, I don't think he was up there.
Okay.
So.
For Ultimate, I think he's made it there, right? Because he lost to...
That sounds right.
Yeah, for 3 years of Ultimate, he's definitely made top 8. But you're right, probably not for Vanilla. So
Yeah. There were a lot of great players in there who didn't get top 8, who definitely could have.
Yeah.
But
yeah, great
it was
stuff. Good tournament, and Justin tweeted out, "I saved Marvel," got 3,000 plus retweets, and I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it definitely helped. It definitely helped.
I do think it helped, but I think he kind of saved it. But I also really liked how the other people in the top 8 played. Like I said, it was the neutral game. It was so important. When Filipino champ was playing, when he had Magneto out. Super important. It was obvious. It was the movement and the neutral game that were really what top 8 was about.
Did you get a chance to watch any of what Broken Tier did earlier today?
I did watch a little bit of it.
And so if you guys don't know, Broken Tier did the first where they basically got 5 of their players and they just had a conversation over Skype and streamed it, and they analyzed a bunch of matches. And listening to I can listen to Vasan talk about matches forever. Let me tell you. Yeah. But listening to him and Angelic break down their Angelic's match and the Chris G Filipino champ match.
Clockwork also did.
Yeah. I know Clockwork said he didn't chime in as much for a lot of the other ones because his stream was lagging, so they couldn't see the match as much. But dude, the way they were talking about it, how Champ picked Rock Assist and how that affected everything, and they were just saying it was on another level. It was really cool to listen to.
That.
Yeah. I hope they do a lot more of those. That was really cool. So.
Twitch.tv/BrokenTier.
Yeah.
Let's do one more game before taking a break.
Sure.